Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a simple and interesting question useful for the examination for IIT JEE. Let's read the question. This is taken from Pathfinder. So let's read it. It's question from collisions and system of particles. Hello everyone, welcome back to another simple but interesting question taken from Pathfinder collision chapter. Simple one, let's try to understand it. Is it possible that after an elastic oblique collision between two identical uniform balls, identical equal mass, uniform balls, meaning velocity of center of mass is nothing but velocity of the center. Hello everyone, welcome back to another interesting and simple question, very useful for JEE examination, taken from Pathfinder. Let's read it. Question number 22. Is it possible that after an elastic oblique collision between two identical equal masses, uniform balls, so the center of mass is center of the ball, one of them will stop, one of them has to come to rest after the collision? If yes, find the necessary condition. So this is a question we have it. Let's slowly develop from starting with a simple one. Head-on collision let us consider first between two identical balls. And when it is elastic collision, of course I am considering elastic collision, then you know it's a very standard result that the velocities get exchanged. The velocity of A gets transferred to B and that of B will be transferred to A. That's what you have. So after the collision they get their velocities exchanged or interchanged. That's a situation in head-on elastic collision between two identical bodies. Now let's go to oblique collision. When oblique collision, what happens is, in addition to velocities along the line of impact, you will have velocities perpendicular to line of impact also. Let's assume that this white line is the line of impact and the gap between them is negligible. That just before collision I am showing it. I have shown the gap exaggerated, but it's very small. Otherwise what happens, next moment they will move in some other direction, collision happens some other direction. So I am assuming that the gap is negligible. Just before collision, let's say along the line of impact, the components of velocities are Vax and Vbx, Uax and Ubx, and perpendicular to line of impact Uay and Uby. Then you know that whenever we are dealing with oblique collision, we don't consider friction unless mentioned otherwise the rotation factor doesn't come and all. So if friction is not there, then the force that is involved here is only normal reaction. The normal reaction will be along the line of impact, and that normal reaction cannot affect the velocities perpendicular to line of impact. So Uay and Uby, they don't participate in collision, they just stick around as they are. Only those velocity components along the line of impact, they participate as if it is head-on collision. They get transferred, exchanged between the two bodies because they are identical bodies and elastic collision. So Ubx goes to A and Uax goes to B. That's the situation we have it. Now in that oblique collision, let us consider one special case where the y component of velocity of A is 0 and x component of velocity of B is 0 just before collision, just before I am talking about. There is no gap between them. So then you see Ua is along the line of impact and Ub is perpendicular to line of impact. Because Ub is perpendicular to line of impact, it does not participate in collision. It will be as it is, right? It does not change. And Ua gets transferred to the other body, just the case that we have seen. And B has no velocity along the line of impact, so A does not move. And you see that A comes to rest and B would move. Now this is a situation where you can have one of the bodies coming to rest when you have oblique collision here. So now let's read the condition as they are talking about. Is it possible? Yes. What is the condition? Just after collision, velocity of, just before collision, velocity of one of the objects, let's say A, is having a velocity along the line of impact and the other velocity should be perpendicular to line of impact. If that situation is there, then you know that one of the bodies will come to rest while the other moves. So that's a condition we have completed it. So I hope you liked it. It's a very simple one but very important concept here. So with that I will conclude here, and with the next another interesting one I am going to meet you again soon. Until that time, goodbye.